NLP Practitioner, Presupposition number 1. Respect for the other person's model of the world. In many situations, we expect our models of the world to be shared by other people. We want them to agree with us, or at least understand why they don't. But this is not always possible. One person's way of seeing things may differ from ours in some way, and we must learn how to deal with this reality if we are going to have positive communication skills. When you're communicating with another person, it's important to respect the other person's model of the world. For example, perhaps your partner is upset because she thinks that you don't understand something about her relationship with her sister. But what if she's wrong? It might be that you actually do know quite a lot about her sister and don't agree with her on this particular topic. But it can still be helpful to consider how your partner sees things from their perspective. And this just doesn't apply to relationships. If a friend tells you about a new study they've been reading about, maybe you're a business, or if someone at work asks for advice on writing up an employee manual, no matter what it is, you may benefit from learning more about their viewpoint in order to better understand them and validate their perspective. It is important to try and understand where the other person is coming from. While you may think that your point of view is valid, it may not be as obvious to them. They may have a completely different model of the world, of the situation, than you do, and therefore their point of view will be different. You must accept this reality in order to effectively communicate with them in a positive manner. You cannot change another person's mind. They must come to their own conclusions and decisions on their own time frame. If they are not ready for change yet, or open to new ideas at this time, then there would be no point in trying to convince them otherwise, because it will only result in conflict or hurt feelings on both sides of the argument. To do this effectively, you must be willing to suspend judgment of other people's model of the world. This does not mean that you must accept their model as true. It simply means entering into their perception as valid and as worthy of consideration as your own, even if it is based on a very different set of experiences and concepts than yours. They may have a very different way of seeing things because they've had different life experiences than yours, or have been exposed to very different cultural influences. For example, if someone from India who has grown up with Hindu beliefs comes to Australia, where we live with Christian beliefs, it would be impossible for them not to see some things differently than we do, because they've been taught a completely different way of seeing reality by their culture. When we say respecting others' model of the world, we're referring specifically to respecting how they see things rather than agreeing with those interpretations ourselves. Once you accept that another person's perception may be as valid as your own, you can enter into their world. This is not a simple task. It requires more than just intellectual understanding. It requires a change in your emotions and feelings. It is important to be curious about the other person's model of the world. If we expect people to enter our shoes, then we must also be willing to enter theirs. The truth is that every one of us has a world model that we have constructed over time, often unconsciously, and without much reflection. This is simply how humans work. We all build up a framework for understanding reality based on our experiences, culture, family background, and so on. In order for any kind of communication or change to happen between people who disagree on something fundamental about the world, you need to understand where they are coming from with their beliefs and why those beliefs are important to them. As you can see, there are many benefits to accepting another person's model of the world. Not only will it improve your communication skills, but it will also help you understand why people behave the way they do and how to approach them in a more positive manner. In addition, it will allow you to connect with other people on a deeper level by finding common ground between yourselves.